Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Spin Rack, and today we are reviewing What If? What if Thor was raised by frost giants? Let me tell you right off the hook that right now, this is one of the most anticipated What Ifs of the year. I've been waiting for it when I first started in previews. I've been talking to people about it since I saw it, and guess what? It doesn't frigging disappoint. This can definitely be down with one of the best What If stories from the 1980s. I say run out, grab a copy before it's gone. If you're a Thor fan, you're going to love it. Okay? This is the What If that really feels like the old 1980s version. And I say let's just get it. In the current timeline of Thor, Odin goes over to the Frost Giants' home and defeats their king, Laufey. And because of that, he finds Loki and brings him back to Asgard and raises him as his ward or son, you know. And he becomes a prince of Asgard, and of course we go on to see all the crazy mischief that Loki gets into. He's the brother of Thor. But in this, the relationship of Thor and Loki basically is kind of basically the same, and that's a very interesting phenomenon. So, I mean, you'd figure with everything different, everything basically stays. Some of the key core issues stays the same. So let's delve into this comic book right now, and let's see what you think. One thing I gotta do, I gotta give a credit to the artist and the writer, Ethan Sachs and Michael Bill Bandini. I mean, I gotta say, it is the written stuff is just fantastic. The art is scrumptious. Even the coloring, I gotta give a shout out to Matt Miller. The coloring is very cool too. I gotta say, can't knock it. Everybody involved in the project has did a pretty good job, you know. So right here, we basically see the battle between Odin and Laufey. Odin ends up screwing up or making one simple mistake, and he ends up getting killed. That changes everything. One little thing, because these two were basically pretty evenly matched. We then go forward on, and we see that Odin goes back to Asgard to try to conquer Asgard, and in destroying and conquering Asgard, he captures Thor and Freya, sorry. And Freya. And what ends up happening is that Freya's thrown into the deepest, darkest dungeons of the Frost Giants' kingdom, and Thor is then put he's put on the road to be one of his wards, to be his ward. When they get back to, I can't even pronounce the name of the Frost Giants' kingdom. When he gets back there, Thor is basically befriended by Loki, and Loki is despised by his father because he's supposed to have the strength and warrior spirit that the Frost Giants have. I guess in the Killer Instinct, Loki's a magician, and this is something that they look down upon. And so he's castigated and not really well liked by his own father. What you start seeing is that over the years, Thor develops into a warrior and somebody that the father, Laufey, actually becomes proud of and eventually makes his crown prince. As you can see, the art is great. Thor continually shines, whereas Loki, once again, does not. But one thing that we find out about Loki is that he makes friends. He starts a relationship with Freya without telling Thor about it. Because this is the only person in the entire kingdom who even likes him or shows in him any type of interest. Thor does not know that his mother is alive, and so there's repercussions to this later on in the future. As time goes on, Thor is deemed the crown prince, and he's going to get the hammer of the Frost Giant's hammer. Kind of weird because he had Magellan, but he's going to be, since he's the heir, once Laufey dies, he will inherit. There are people who are against this, but Laufey's like, hey, kill him, Thor, and you will become my heir. One thing that's particularly interesting is the relationship between Thor and Loki, which continues. I mean, you don't see Thor still consider Loki his brother, no matter, even though they're different species, or different races, and it continues. We also see in the story that finally Loki's given up staying with his father and decides that he wants to just leave. And the person he goes to is Freya, which is interesting because that relationship, Freya was, of all of them, other than Thor, who treated him as his brother, Freya was closer to Loki than Odin was. And so this is the person that he wanted to take with him to escape. But when his father finds out and wants to kill him, and wants Thor to do it for him, Loki ends up killing his own father, which, if you've seen some aspects of the battles he's had with Odin, you can kind of see what happens. Of course, he does it sneakily because that's what his powers. He's a god of mischief, and tricks, and so that's how he ends up killing his father. This, you would figure that Thor would be okay with this, but no. Thor is now the ruler of the Frost Giants and sees it as his responsibility to continue to rule them, even though he was not originally a Frost Giant himself. In the end, he makes a tragic sacrifice without realizing what happened. And but he remains true. He stays with the Frost Giants. He allows his brother to leave. Excellent, excellent story. Go out and buy it. I didn't go into every single thing, but you can see the art, the coloring, the story is fantastic. And once again, Thor is one of the best out there. And Sachs, Bandini, big kudos, big freaking kudos. The story couldn't be any much better than I could have expected. Okay, Spinner Rack out.